Good evening. I am Andrew Bing, and I will be the facilitator for tonight's public hearing. A few quick announcements. This hearing is for the rebuild of the Francis Scott Key Bridge. The demolition of the remaining Francis Scott Key Bridge structures was reviewed under two separate tidal wetlands license numbers. Comments relating to the demolition were received during the August 1, 2024 public hearing and during the notice period, which ended August 15, 2024. Just for reference, if anyone needs to use the restroom, they are out in the lobby over by the staircase, and there is staff that can help you locate the restroom if you need to use the restroom. Please make sure you have signed in tonight. This will make sure that everyone is provided updates as this process moves forward. If you would like to sign up to provide a public comment, you need to let the person at the sign-up table know. This hearing is being live streamed and recorded. If you are here for informational purposes and do not wish to comment, or you are unable to stay for the entire hearing, you have the opportunity to live stream this video from home or watch a recording at a later time. The comment sheets located at the front desk have information to locate the live stream and the recording of this hearing. We will start with a welcome and some introductory comments by the Maryland Department of the Environment. We will then have a brief presentation from the applicant, the Maryland Transportation Authority, and finally, I will review the ground rules for this hearing. At that point, we will start taking public comments. I would now like to introduce Tammy Roberson, Deputy Program Manager, Wetlands and Waterways Protection Program of the Maryland Department of the Environment.
Good evening. My name is Tammy Roberson, and I am the Deputy Program Manager of the Wetlands and Waterways Program within the Water and Science Administration at the Maryland Department of the Environment. I will be the hearing officer for tonight's public informational hearing. Also in attendance from the department are Jay Aberson, Deputy Director, Office of Communications, Heather Nelson, Program Manager, Wetlands and Waterways Protection Program, Heather Hepburn, Tidal Wetlands Division, Project Manager, Amina Lipscomb, Communications Specialist. I would like to welcome everyone here this evening and thank the Community College of Baltimore County Dundalk campus for use of the Dundalk Theater at the Lloyd College Center tonight. At this time, I would like to acknowledge any elected officials or their representatives who may be present here this evening. If you are an elected official or representing an elected official, please raise your hand and make your way to one of the mics.
Good evening. I'm Matt Garbark, Director of the Mayor's Office of Infrastructure Development, representing Mayor Brandon Scott.
Thank you for attending this hearing, and we will be hearing your testimony shortly if you do plan to speak. If there is anyone who has not signed the attendance sheets, please do so before you leave tonight. These sheets will be used to notify you of MDE's final decision and provide you with a copy of the hearing report, and will also be used to identify those of you who wish to make a statement at tonight's hearing. Those statements will be heard at the conclusion of the applicant's presentation. The attendance sheets will also be provided to the Board of Public Works for use in its review process. As a courtesy, please turn off all communication devices or place them in silent mode. We are conducting a public informational hearing pursuant to subsection 5-204 of the Environment Article Code of Maryland Regulations, COMAR 26240105 and COMAR 260802 10F2. The purpose of this public informational hearing is for the applicant to present the proposed project and tidal wetlands impacts that may be associated with the proposed activity, as well as any impact to water quality. In addition, the hearing provides the department with an opportunity to solicit additional information from interested persons. This hearing is not a contested case hearing under Maryland's Administrative Procedure Act. While I want to stress the fact that we are here to share information, we will have some structure to the hearing in terms of the order and length of the various presentations. Please be advised that it is not necessary to read a statement to make it part of the official record. Written comments will also be accepted and receive the same consideration as any oral statement. In fact, for accuracy, if you have written comments to read into the record, please provide a copy of those comments before you leave. This hearing is being recorded. The statutory authority for issuance of a tidal wetlands license is Title 16 of the Environment Article Annotated Code of Maryland as implemented under COMAR Section 230204 and Subtitle 2624. A state tidal wetlands license is issued by the Board of Public Works consisting of the governor, state treasurer, and comptroller of the state of Maryland based upon a report and recommendation submitted to the board by the department. In accordance with the Maryland Constitution, the board is the sole body with authority over state property, including state tidal wetlands. In its proprietary authority, the board has the right to grant a third party a license to construct or conduct an activity in state tidal wetlands. According to Section 16-202 of the Environment Article, the Secretary of the Department shall assist the board in determining whether to issue a license to dredge or fill state wetlands. The Secretary shall submit a report indicating whether the license should be granted, including any recommended terms, conditions, and consideration. After consultation with applicable federal, state, and local entities, issuance of sufficient public notice, and conducting any requested hearing. Consideration of any public comments received and consideration of any other information the Secretary thinks advisable. In making its decision, the board is guided by the public policy of the state, considering applicable ecological, economic, developmental, recreational, and aesthetic values to preserve tidal wetlands and prevent their destruction. I will now read briefly from the regulations so that it is clear how we are going to proceed. An applicant and any interested person shall be given an opportunity at the informational hearing to present facts and make statements supporting or opposing the license. Questions may be asked of and directed to the hearing officer, but cross-examination may not be conducted. The hearing is not a contested case hearing. The order of the presentation is determined by the hearing officer and may be conducted as follows. Introduction of the activity and participants by the hearing officer, presentation of the proposed project by the applicant, questions about the activity, statements by public officials, statements in opposition, statements in support, and closing the public informational hearing by the hearing officer. The hearing officer has the authority and duty to conduct a full and fair public informational hearing, act to avoid unnecessary delay and to maintain order, regulate the course of the hearing and conduct of the participants, extend the time period for providing supplemental written comments or information for inclusion in the hearing record, and rule upon a request for a continuance of the hearing. At the close of the public comment period, the hearing officer shall prepare an official record of the public informational hearing and comments. It is also the responsibility of my office to evaluate requests for water quality certifications under Section 401 of the Clean Water Act, which requires Maryland as the certifying authority to determine whether the discharge associated with U.S. Army Corps of Engineers permit application NAB 202461017 M46 and a United States Coast Guard permit complies with the state's water quality standards. The department's authority is found in Subtitle 9 of the Environment Article. Each certification request received through our regulatory program has specific and unique issues and impacts that must be considered with regard to Maryland's water quality standards. The department is neither proponent nor opponent of any project. In summary, the Maryland Department of the Environment is conducting a public informational hearing for state tidal wetlands application number 24WL0757, submitted on July 18th, 2024, and Clean Water Act Section 401 Water Quality Certification Request 24 WQC 0028, which was requested July 2nd, 2024. The applicant has applied for the construction of a new bridge to replace the Francis Scott Key Bridge. The rebuild project will include the construction of a new bridge, which will incorporate updated design standards and will tie the new bridge into the existing roadway on both sides of the river. The project location will be the same as the original bridge, following the existing center line across the Patapsco River. The new bridge will remain within MDTA's existing right-of-way. The bridge will consist of 4 12-foot wide lanes with 2 10-foot wide outside shoulders and 2 4-foot wide inside shoulders. The entire bridge will be approximately 2.4 miles, including approximately 1 mile over the Patapsco River. The proposed bridge will have an air draft of 230 feet over the 800-foot wide authorized Fort McHenry navigation channel. The applicant has contracted with a progressive design build firm, which is currently designing the specifics of the bridge. For the purpose of this tidal wetlands license and this hearing, the department is reviewing the potential maximum impacts of the proposed bridge. The maximum impacts include the following. The bridge towers will have a maximum height of 550 feet. The tidal impacts will be both temporary and permanent. The total maximum combined impacts are 554,527 square feet, or 12.73 acres, to tidal water. Mitigation for impacts to the Patapsco resulting in loss of open water will be assessed. A water quality certification, 24 WQC 0028, has been requested. In addition to the proposed work listed above, the WQC request includes temporary impacts to non-tidal wetlands and their buffers due to construction access and permanent impacts due to grading the modified roadway approaches to the replacement bridge. The total combined temporary and permanent impacts are 10,964 square feet of non-tidal wetlands, 46,601 square feet of 25-foot non-tidal wetlands buffer, and 272 linear feet of stream impacts totaling 845 square feet. There may be additional concerns related to issues that are beyond the scope of this particular hearing. I ask that this hearing remain focused on issues associated with the tidal wetlands license application and request for the water quality certification for the maximum impact for the rebuild of the Francis Scott Key Bridge.
Okay, thank you, Tammy. Before I go on, I do want to just recognize Bart Kennedy, representing Senator Van Hollen, who joined us tonight, and I believe we'll be hearing from Bart shortly. Next, we'll hear from Brian Wolf, Director of Project Development at the Maryland Transportation Authority. Brian will provide a short presentation of the project, and after this, we will begin with your public comments. Brian?
Thank you, Andrew. The I-695 Francis Scott Key Bridge was a 1.6-mile-long steel truss bridge built between 1972 and 1977 over the lower Patapsco River in the Baltimore-Dundalk area of Maryland. The Maryland Transportation Authority has submitted permit applications to authorize impacts associated with rebuilding the Key Bridge. The project proposes to construct a 2.4-mile-long bridge to carry I-695 over the Patapsco River. The bridge will carry 2 lanes of traffic in each direction and will have 4-foot wide inside shoulders and 10-foot wide outside shoulders to meet current interstate standards. The bridge will be higher than the original structure to accommodate current and future commercial vessels calling on the Port of Baltimore. This will have a 230-foot vertical clearance over the Federal Navigation Channel. The proposed bridge will have a 1,100-foot horizontal clearance centered on the Federal Navigational Channel. The specific type of bridge has not been selected and will be identified by MDTA working in collaboration with the Progressive Design Builder. The bridge will result in 12.71 acres of permanent impact to tidal waters, shown in the light blue on the slide. Bridge construction will also result in 0.02 acres of temporary impacts to tidal waters. Bridge construction and approach roadway modifications will result in 0.05 acres of permanent non-tidal wetland impacts and 0.21 acres of temporary non-tidal wetland impacts. These activities will also result in 0.21 acres of permanent non-tidal wetland buffer impacts and 0.89 acres of temporary non-tidal wetland buffer impacts, as well as 0.02 acres of temporary stream impacts. Andrew?
Thank you, Brian. So the purpose of this public hearing is to allow interested parties to provide public comments related to the rebuild of the Francis Scott Key Bridge. My role as the hearing facilitator is to run a professional and orderly public hearing. I understand how important these issues are, and I take my role as hearing facilitator seriously. I'm committed to providing members of the public an opportunity to provide comments in an organized, fair, professional, and orderly manner. We look forward to hearing your perspectives, but please be courteous of all speakers and understand that offensive or profane language will not be allowed. We are interested in hearing comments related to the rebuild of the Francis Scott Key Bridge from all interested individuals. Again, neither I nor the panelists will respond to any questions or comments. We are here to listen. Please remember that we are recording this hearing. Speak directly and clearly into the microphone and provide your full name, address, and any organization you may be representing. To ensure all will be heard, there will be a 3-minute time limit for public testimony and a 5-minute time limit for elected officials and anyone representing an organization or community. The time will start after you introduce yourself. I will remind you when you have 30 seconds remaining so you can begin to wrap up your testimony. And as the hearing facilitator, if you are unable to conclude your comments at the end of your time period, I will again remind you to wrap up, and then I will end your testimony and move on to the next person. Also, the hearing is being live streamed and recorded. If you are here for informational purposes and do not wish to comment, or you are unable to stay for the entire hearing, you have the opportunity to live stream this video from home or watch the recording at a later time. The comment sheets located at the front desk have information to locate the live stream and the recording of the hearing. So we're going to start our testimony. I'm going to start first with the elected officials. I'm just going to go in the order that they were provided to me. So first up, we're going to hear from Matthew Garbark, representing Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott. If you come over there. So again, you'll have 4 minutes. And if you could just introduce yourself, spell your name just for the court reporter that's taking this, and then you can begin.
Good evening. I'm Matthew Garbark, G-A-R-B-A-R-K. I'm the Director for the Mayor's Office of Infrastructure Development, representing the Mayor and City Council of Baltimore. We are in strong support of this rebuild. I want to thank the state and our federal partners for how expeditiously they have moved this project along. This is a critical project for Baltimore City. Specifically, the other two Patapsco crossings are within city limits. We have seen a significant increase in traffic, especially truck traffic as well as other vehicle traffic that has really impacted many of our streets and our neighborhoods in Baltimore City. The other thing I'd like to point out is immediately adjacent to the bridge, where the bridge was located, is a 60-inch water main that is owned and operated by Baltimore City's Department of Public Works, as well as a gas main that is owned and operated by BG&E. I just ask that those be accounted for during this project so that there is no disturbance or that disturbance is minimal for that. With that, I conclude my testimony. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we'll hear from Bart Kennedy, representing Senator Van Hollen. Again, if you could just introduce yourself and spell your name.
Sure. Thank you. My name is Bart Kennedy, B-A-R-T. Last name is Kennedy, K-E-N-N-E-D-Y. I'm just here to thank MDE and the state for holding this hearing. As you know, Senator Van Hollen and your congressional delegation here in Maryland are continuing the fight for 100% funding of the Key Bridge rebuild. It's very important that we get that funded. And that's all I have to say. I just want to acknowledge and thank you so much for holding this hearing. It's very important. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other elected officials or someone representing an elected official here that I didn't have a chance to see? And if you are here and if you'd like to provide any comments, please let me know. Okay, I'm not seeing any hands being raised, so we're going to go on to members of our public who have signed up to provide testimony. The first person is Christopher Barnes. Mr. Barnes, if you could come up to the microphone, if you could state your name and then spell your name and provide the zip code where you live.
Yes, sir. Christopher
Mr.
Barnes.
Barnes, just sort of tilt the microphone up a
Sure.
little bit. There you go.
Oh.
Oh, that's okay.
Christopher Barnes, B-A-R-N-E-S. I'm in zip code 21217, Baltimore City. I would like to thank everyone who responded to the Key Bridge incident and all the mitigation and efforts, and my sympathy goes out to those impacted by this incident. At this time, I would like to say, as in the previous meeting, I am in support of the Key Bridge being rebuilt because this is having a major impact on traffic throughout the city. Traffic has been very heavy throughout the city, and I do feel that this is extremely important to our transportation infrastructure, and as well as being able to get services and goods shipped just domestically and internationally. And this is, and I have reviewed the information the state of Maryland has provided, and I see that a lot of the environmental impacts have been considered, and I do feel that the bridge can be reconstructed with minimal environmental impact, and I also do feel that it is extremely important that the bridge be designed with today's modern safety standards. We're not just talking about a roadway. This is a major transportation infrastructure. We're talking 1.6 miles of our interstate system. This is very, very important for the Baltimore community, and also this is extremely important to the communities that do surround the Patapsco River, Dundalk, Essex, and Middle River, and the other communities. So with that being said, I would again like to thank Maryland Department of Transportation for their efforts to restore our transportation infrastructure. And again, I do feel that this project is and will be a success. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, next up, we're going to hear from Meredith Chaikin, representing the Greater Baybrook Alliance.
Hi, I'm Meredith Chaikin. Do you want me to spell it?
Yes, please spell it, and just the zip code where your office is.
It's Meredith is MEREDITH. Chaikin is CHAIKEN. I'm the CEO of the Greater Baybrook Alliance, which is located in 21225 in Brooklyn, Maryland. So I just wanted to note that I appreciate that the design for the bridge is taking all these environmental justice issues into consideration. I wanted to make sure that that also extends to the communities that are adjacent to the bridge terminus on both sides of the river, I guess. I represent Brooklyn, Curtis Bay, and Brooklyn Park. I also have colleagues that represent the Dundalk side that we've been in conversations about the opportunity to mitigate the impact of truck traffic on our communities. Since the bridge collapse, our communities have already have a disproportionate amount of truck traffic in our area, and then since the bridge collapse, that has just doubled or tripled. The impact on our communities is really, we're bearing quite a bit of the cost of the truck traffic being diverted at this point. And I think there's a huge opportunity now to think creatively and proactively about how to make it appropriate for the neighborhoods where there's residences and small businesses and schools and libraries that share the road right now with trucks, to be creative and solution-oriented about how the designs go forward. So that's my request of the state in this process. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, at this point, everyone who has indicated an interest in providing comments, testimony, I've received their cards, but I do want to just see if there's anyone else who maybe has had a change of heart. They came here thinking they weren't going to provide comments, and now they said, you know what, I'd like to. If you'd like to provide a comment, please let me know. Okay, I'm not seeing anyone's hands raised right now. So what we're going to do right now is we are going to go into recess. We understand that there may be some people who are trying to get here, and maybe they are because of the weather or there's traffic. So we are going to go into recess, and then we will reconvene at some point and end the hearing. But for right now, it is 5:54, and we are in recess. Thank you. Okay, it is 6:17 p.m. and we are going to come back from recess. We do have someone who has shown up who has expressed an interest in providing testimony, so we're going to hear that testimony at this point. So that is Steve Frank. Mr. Frank, if you could, you can come up to that microphone right in front of you over there. And if you could just state your name, spell your name, and a zip code, please.
You're very, very quick to call me.
Take your time. We're
Thank you. Please, can you do something for 2 minutes?
It's okay. And I also, while you're doing that, I want to remind people here, as well as anyone listening through the live stream, that in addition to providing oral testimony like we're hearing tonight, you can submit written comments. And those comments, have the same impact and same effect as if you were providing them here tonight. And you have until October 1st, 2024 to provide those comments. So just as a reminder to those maybe who are listening in to the live stream or who are able to see the recording after the fact.
Okay, you did well with your time. 2 minutes.
Okay, again, Mr. Frank, if you could
Sure.
state your name, spell your name, and your zip code.
Okay, my name's Steve Frank, Steve, last name Frank, Frank, and my zip code's 21209. Thank you for the opportunity to present design and operational recommendations to the proposed replacement of the Francis Scott Key Bridge. These suggestions are aimed at enhancing safety and maintaining steady traffic flow. The goal is to prevent incidents and congestion under irregular conditions. I believe that alleviating damage and injury and efficient traffic management are crucial for the public and MDTA. These factors may be significant when evaluating the bridge's overall success. I will describe these recommendations by narrating a fictional crossing of the new bridge in 2028, having incorporated 3 of my recommendations. They are designed to improve safety and traffic management on the new bridge. Okay, this is my narration. The first recommendation is called the automated towing system. As I drove from Annapolis to Dundalk, I breezed through the electronic tolling facility on the new FSK bridge. However, I soon encountered a traffic jam due to a right lane closure caused by an accident ahead. From the left lane, I saw authorities hitching the damaged car to the automated towing system. This system featured a moving track embedded in the right lane. If towed at normal, it tows at normal speed the car across the bridge and off the roadway. The system is intended to prevent ensuing accidents and ease congestion. So I continued on. Emergency safety station. Continuing my journey, I experienced a flat tire near the bridge's halfway point. Fortunately, I was able to drive up and pull into an emergency safety station, a designated bump out adjoined to the right lane. This station was similar to a highway shoulder, but much shorter. The station, covered on 3 sides, allowed me to safely change my tire without disrupting traffic, like a highway shoulder. Got through that one. That was the second incident. Of course, there'll be one more. Emergency parking lot. As I neared the end of the bridge, I encountered a cluster of emergency vehicles blocking both lanes. I don't know why. The authorities started diverting traffic to the emergency parking lot. This was a paved off-street area designated for official and emergency use only. It allowed authorities to safely get vehicles off of the bridge. Having the lot also reduced congestion and cleared the way for emergency vehicles to reach incidents on the bridge. So I wanted to mention, I think that these 3 features, and there's things that I've thought of, I'm sure maybe things that already are out there somewhere or somebody's thought of, but I just kind of came to mind. The automated towing system, emergency safety station, and emergency parking lot help to ensure safety, efficient traffic flow, addressing potential issues before they escalate. They reflect a deep consideration for the needs of drivers, passengers, and emergency personnel, emphasizing strategy, planning, and action. I encourage you to explore these recommendations in consultation with the Maryland Transportation Police. It is their mission to provide safety, security, and service in partnership with the community to all who use and work on MDTA. Finally, I believe it is important to study best practices for safety and traffic flow in existing bridges, aviation, rail transport, maritime operations, and any entity that transports people or cargo. I would like there to be many proven measures that would apply to the bridge. So that's my statement, and I gave a copy of the complete document with diagrams to the front, asking to give to Mr. Wolf, and I can also I'll like to send another one on to you yourself.
Yeah, and I think we have received that, so
Okay.
thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you for your comments. I let you go a little over just because we don't have anyone else after you right now. So we are going to, and again, I don't know, maybe someone came in as Mr. Frank was talking. If there is anyone else who would like to provide comments, you could raise your hand and I'll bring you up. Okay, I don't see any hands being raised. So again, we don't have anyone right now looking to make comments. So what we're going to do is we are going to go back into recess. It is 6:23 right now. We are going to come back at 6:30. We'll come back sooner if we have anyone who shows up who wants to provide any comments. But at 6:30, if we have not received any indication of anyone else wanting to provide testimony, we are going to conclude the hearing. I'll come back on at 6:30. I'll then turn it over to MDE, and they will have their concluding comments, and then we will end the hearing. But for right now, it is 6:23, and we will be in recess until 6:30. Thank you. Okay, it is now 6:30 p.m. At this point, we have not had anyone else come in who has indicated an interest in providing testimony, so we are going to wrap up the hearing. I am going to turn it over to Tammy Roberson, who is going to close out the hearing.
All right, the formal hearing record will remain open until Tuesday, October 1st, 2024. All correspondence must be postmarked or emailed by this date. I have with me a number of sheets explaining how to submit additional comments. Those are located out in the lobby. Please forward any additional comments that you would like to make for the record to, by email, matthew.wallach@maryland.gov, or by mail at Maryland Department of the Environment, care of Matt Wallach, Tidal Wetlands Division, 1800 Washington Boulevard, Suite 430, Baltimore, Maryland, 21230. After the hearing record closes, the department will review and consider all of the comments it received during the comment period. If necessary, the department may request additional information from the applicant to address certain comments. After all relevant issues have been resolved, the department will make its decision and final report and recommendation to the wetland administrator for the board, who shall then present the proposed project for decision at a public meeting of the board. In accordance with COMAR Chapter 230204, the board's decision will be final and there will be no further opportunity for administrative review. Any person with standing may petition for judicial review of the board's decision in the circuit court of their respective jurisdiction, City of Baltimore, Anne Arundel County, or Baltimore County. The petition for judicial review must be filed within 30 days of the board's decision. The public comments received will also be considered by the department when rendering a decision on certification request number 24 WQC 0028. The department is obligated to issue, deny, or waive certification of the project by July 2nd, 2025. The department's decision and accompanying information will be sent to the interested person list, the applicant, the Corps, and the United States Coast Guard. Any person who is aggrieved by the department's decision may appeal the decision by filing a request within 30 days of the publication of the WQC decision in accordance with COMAR 260802 10F4. If you're unsure if you are on the interested persons list, please ensure your name is added to the signature sheets at the front desk and your name will be added to that list. We appreciate your interest in this project and thank you for attending the hearing. The time is 6:33 and this hearing is now adjourned.